Hello, and well, to put it bluntly, it will be the last unit of the week for Wargame. Next week, I'm going to be doing a different video for Monday, just something out of the blue, and a week after that, we're going to be doing Steel Division unit of the week as I move my channel to Raw Jack content. I want to say thank you very much for sticking around just long. This will be number 139, that's 2.5 years of unit of the week, which is a lot of units. And speaking of a lot of units, I can just think of one unit to talk about today. I got a bunch of units that I want to discuss before we end this off. And so, let's just get it started. First up, we got the AMX-40, a rather underrated French tank, which is understandable, because if you're going to be playing a Eurocore deck, you're probably just going to get Lapper 2 because it has more armor, because this only has Trove frontal armor. But apart from that, it's a really bloody good tank. The gun's solid, 19 AP and 9 rounds a minute makes it very effective at knocking out heavy tanks, and it also has an autocannon, which for some reason fires out the main cannon animation rise, but good for stunning up infantry and pesky helicopters that get too close. It's also rather fast, and it's a pretty nice tank. It's not the best tank, of course, for the price range, but it can dish out a lot of damage. The Chamara is also another tank, though technically vehicle, that's been a little bit left under the race side, and it falls under this weird category, because it's a heavy tank with lots of armor and a good gun, but it's slow, and also the rate of fire is rather abysmal, and it's a bit expensive at 110 points. It can be brought up in the vehicle section, which saves you quite a bit in terms of activation points, but it's a little bit underwhelming. I think if this was 100 points, maybe 90 to 95, this would be a much better unit to use. The HVMS is an awesome recon unit that's a bit overshadowed by the T-55 Igman, and it has a reared gun. It's a 60mm cannon that shoots at a whopping 29 rounds a minute, making it almost like an auto cannon. But with 60% accuracy and 11 AP, you can knock out light and heck even medium armor rather effectively. Also, it is probably one of the best evolutions of the Gavin chassis. I mean, it's a Gavin with a goddamn tank gun on top. What's not to love? The Plowman's a rather revolutionary unit because it was the first rocket artillery unit to have smoke ammunition, and after a few patches later, they gave other rocket artillery pieces smoke munitions. And goddamn, smoke is really bloody useful when used in conjunction with a rocket artillery piece. Because unlike a mortar or artillery piece, where it takes a little bit to smoke an entire area, this bad boy will just make an entire field nice and smoky, allowing you to move up your units easy peasy like. It's really bloody good for just making an area unseeable. The Backstrike Master's an okay napalm bomber. It's only 50 points, so it's nice and cheap, but it has a machine gun. Just one machine gun with 275 rounds of ammunition. I understand it's a training plane and they probably just have that for training purposes, but the only other plane I can think of that only has one machine gun is called a Fokker Rheindecker, and it was over 100 years old. The only reason I have this unit in this video is because someone keeps commenting on every single video to include it. And well, it's not a bad plane, it's a pretty decent interceptor with a lot of missiles. It's rather mid-range, but yeah, the only reason I have it in is because of you. So, are you happy? Only the North Koreans would have the initiative to, hey, we need to shoot down helicopters. What should we do? Let's put Manpads on our tanks. And so they did. This was originally removed from the game, but they ended up adding it back after realizing how much of a mistake it was. Because this is a pretty awesome tank. It's nothing amazing. The AP power is okay, the armor is pretty abysmal, but it has a big enough machine gun, and those Strela missiles, even though they're not anything fancy, are pretty crappy Manpads. But for 60 points, paired with a tank, they can shoot down a helicopter or two or keep those planes at bay for a little bit. Heck, it's one of the only tanks in game that can also act as an AA unit. You might notice I included quite a bit of Anzac units in this unit of the week. I don't really know why, but here's another one, an M113 with a minigun. It's pretty simple. No other M113s I can think of have miniguns unless it's a big ass Vulcan minigun. But for 10 points as a transport, it shoots a lot of bullets and good for infantry suppression. It definitely beats a 50 cal machine gun. Yo, in the grand scheme of things, there's a lot of other 10-point transports that trumps this by quite a bit. But hey, it's Anzac, you gotta make do with what you got. There's a lot of different Hinds in Wargame, but this one takes a cake in terms of uniqueness. Instead of having a bunch of rockets, it has 4 very big rockets. And these rockets are bloody powerful. They will knock out infantry columns, and vehicle columns are like easy peasy, like, or at least stun them up. The problem is, though, is that you only have 4 of them, so you have to have a bit more finesse with your micro, making sure they don't just race these array on unnecessary targets. But for a fire sport helicopter, it's pretty alright. Aesthetically, the Sergei mod looks pretty crap. It's a truck with a dual-mounted autocannon on the back, but statistically, it's bloody amazing. It's fast, and the cannon has pretty decent range against helicopters, cheap, and good accuracy too. There's a lot of other trucks in game that has the same armament. What makes this run much better, I have no idea, so I'm gonna go with Finnish Space Magic. And the last unit that we're gonna cover for Wargame Unit of the Week is a unit that holds a very dear place in my heart. A unit that is my favourite unit in Wargame. The M50A1 Ontos. This thing is everything I love about Wargame. Ever since the Outland Battle, since its introduction, I've loved this thing to death. It looks weird, and it performs a pretty funny gimmick. It has 6 recoilless rifles on it, because why not? That seems like a good idea. Why have run when you can have 6? And they're alright, decent range and accuracy and AP. They are heat too, so they're always going to at least do 1 AP damage against anything. But it's rather fast at 13 rounds a minute, and if I remember, it's more like a bang 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 bang, wait a little bit to reload as it fires off all 6 barrels, like a American cowboy. It also has a machine gun too, an M60, but for some reason the M60 on the unit card looks like an M1990. But hey, you're not really going to complain, it still shoots bullets, it's slow, it has bad armor, and M163CS is a much better unit if you actually wanted something for infantry fire support. But the Ontos is more than just an infantry fire support vehicle. It's a tank killer too. Placed in the right forest at the right time, this thing can knock out the biggest behemoth. Those T-80Us, those Leopard 5s if you're playing blue on blue for some inane reason. And that's what makes this my favourite unit. It looks pretty crap. It's gimmicky. It's nothing really amazing. And it's not the best. But under the right circumstances, it can be very bloody powerful and give you a good laugh or two, which is really what Wargame is to me. It's never really been about playing the meta, getting the best, and, you know, playing Yugoslavia, winning matches, and, you know, just trying to win. It's more about just having fun, seeing what a 1980s British Marine deck would do, or a Canadian National deck, or hey, let's try Vietnam era American decks. Because you can do that in Wargame. It has that option, that huge encompassing Cold War arsenal at its disposal. And through a series, I wanted to explore all the unique, not just the best, but unique units that this game has to offer. And I want to say thank you very much for sticking around this long. We've been doing this for 2.5 years now, which is a lot of units, a lot of bloody units. And really, thank you for just watching, because it's going to sound cheesy as hell, but I wouldn't be doing this without you. And yeah. So, this has been the last unit of the week for Wargame. I will see you guys next time for Steel Division. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please just take it easy.